Hey guys, it's the Gemmy fan here on Gemmy Master Animatronics, and what you're looking at here is the start of another collection video. Yes, if you're wondering, I'm finally doing another Grave Raver collection, Groovin Ghoul / Grave Raver / unfortunately Groovin Ghoulies now, but I'll get to that in a second. Let's just say that Jordan finally broke the ice on me actually adding a newer one of these Groovin Ghoulies to my collection, because all I have were the older ones, and that's all I plan to stick with. But anyways, with that being said, I'm going to go through one by one of my collection, and I'm very satisfied with my collection. And I realize that there are a whole bunch of fanboys out there that would pay surprisingly over $100 for a single one of these. That ceases to admit, like that. I just can't believe that actually takes place. And for the sellers that sell these things, you better be glad that they're in their heyday right now, because, you know, it's just, whoever these sellers are that are selling these things, you guys are going to be making bank. That's all I'm going to say. Because for the prices these people will pay for these things, it just amazes me. From something that started out from $10, and it goes for sometimes over $100 if it's the right one. You just got to make sure it's that right one that triggers everybody's attention. But with that being said, I'm going to start out in order from oldest to newest in my collection. And yes, I know the years. This is the original 2007 model Living La Vida Loca skeleton. Sold primarily at CVS and Walgreens in the first couple of years. Not much else I could say about this. It's incredibly common. You'll find them just about anywhere. But the next one I review is a little bit less common to find, and I'll explain why. Like I said, once again, seeing Living La Vida Loca, had to replace both gears in it. So it did nothing when I purchased it. I got it for like $10 because I had a groove line already, and I was like, you know, I really do want to get the first original, you know, Groovin Ghoul at the time. So with that being said, let's test them out. Now let's just say that this tiny little Groovin Ghoul skeleton right here was the start of over almost a decade's worth of a series. That's pretty amazing for these little characters, for sure. And you know, I could see why. I could see why they were extremely popular. They're just little characters that stand on the base, that dance and sing. It really couldn't get any better than that. Up next, we have a little less common model of the Groovin Ghoul that was sold the year afterwards, in 2008. This is known as the Groove Line skeleton. Now, the Groove Line skeleton was, like I said, it was a little bit less common, a little bit less distributed than the rest that were sold the previous year and the years afterwards. But the main reason that these are so hard to come by nowadays is because you can literally, if you're lucky, you'll find one at a Goodwill. That has to be real luck, man, to find one of these at a Goodwill, because most of the time it's going to be Living La Vida Loca. Now, and the reason they're hard to find on eBay is because the sellers don't really list they don't always list the songs. They'll just say singing and dancing skeleton, $20 plus shipping, whatever the price is. This one in particular I got off collector Ethan Hyman about 2 years ago now. Man, it's already been 2 years since I've had this thing. It's crazy. And I was all hyped up about getting this thing, man. This thing was my favorite. And I'm sure it always will be in the entire collection. In the entire collection, I have to say this is my all-time favorite. I don't know why. Even my first ones don't really cut out to meet the interest I have in this one. I don't know why. I just love the song because I love 70s and 80s music. So it just matches it. It fits it. But with that being said, like I said, this thing's groove line had a split gear in the torso movement. No, I'm sorry, not the torso, the upper body movement. But that's pretty much it. And you know something? Now that I think about it, this is the only trying to think. I'm trying to make sure that this is actually confirmed. Yeah, I think it is actually. This is the only Groovin Ghoul slash character out of the entire series that plays a retro 70s song. Yes, I know that there are 80s, 90s, and early 2000s to mid 2000s songs, but this one plays the earliest of music, which is more of a groove line 70s type of vibe that comes off of this. That's why I like it so much. That's really the only reason I really enjoy it. It's not because of the rarity. I buy this stuff because I enjoy it. It's not because, you know, oh, I want to compete with everybody else and buy what buy it because it's rare. I don't do that. I don't waste money on stuff for other people's satisfaction, and I'll never do that. But enough of me talking. Let's play it for you. Up next, we have, let's see, moving off to 2008 and going on to 2009. So that would be this guy. Now this is the one that's also probably second in line for most popular grave ravers. Now I'm not saying by collectors, I'm saying in stores. When these guys were in stores in early to mid 2009, October 2009, these were the thing because these were basically sold at Target at the time and a couple other retailers at the time, but these are very popular because as you can see, it's just got a classic ghost look, but you wouldn't think it would do as much as it did until you press the button. That's why I think it was much more well known at that point, because they started distributing to other retailers. This is the original 09 model that was sold at Target, and I never really explained how I got this one. I got this one for free. A local person, probably maybe 5-6 miles away from me, knew that I collected the stuff and knew that I liked holiday decorations, and he contacted me. He's like, hey man, I got a whole bunch of stuff that I'm giving away, and you can come over and take whatever you want, because I'm moving houses, or the guy was moving a house, so he just didn't want to do it anymore, so he's like, come get whatever you want. So with that being said, I went over there, got a whole bunch of animatronics. I got this along with a Scary Skull, second generation Scary Skull, a life-size, two inflatables, two really nice inflatables that is, and a whole bunch of lights and Halloween decorations added to that. But it had a split gear. Now this one did have a split gear in the torso, so that's really the only problem I have with it. Fixed in like 5 minutes, and here it sits. So let's play it for you. You know, and now that I keep thinking more and more, I really do think that the Groove line is the only 70s song in the entire series, all put together. Because, you know, The Way I Are, I think is early 2000s. Live La Vida Loca is the 90s, like 1998, 99. This Is Why I'm Hot is obviously the early to mid 2000s. The Way, Gimme More by Britney Spears is obviously from the early 2000s. Thriller, that's from the 80s. Down, that's obviously from the mid 2000s. Fireball is clearly from the late 2000s. And Club Can't Handle Me is obviously from the mid 2000s as well. So basically, and I know that there's a lot more like Locked Out of Heaven, a whole lot more songs in the list, but I think overall that's the earliest song ever played in one of these characters. So anyways, moving on to the next one. I was about to pick it up by his head, and people are notorious for picking them up by their heads. I really wouldn't recommend it because, you know, there's a little plastic lever piece that connects the head to make it move up and down. That could snap very easily, so I would recommend not necessarily doing that. Anyways, next one here. This is the 2009 Target exclusive. This was only sold at Target because of their mascot. Target exclusive Cartoon Devil. This one obviously sings This Is Why I'm Hot. Got it from Ethan Hyman in a trade for my Somebody's Watching Me Ghost. And I can't say I regret it because I got this awesome thing, but I still miss that one because I got that one in stores back in like 2010. But regardless, I got a fair deal, no doubt. But this one came with a boatload of work. Both gears are completely split. One 9-tooth in here and 8-tooth on the bottom. That's what you guys need to remember. Whenever you fix these guys, remember 9-tooth on the top, 8-tooth in the bottom. Keep that in mind. Although the top portion will work with 8-tooths, if you so desperately need to put an 8-tooth in there, go ahead, but it's going to be a lot more noisy. Which is kind of what I regretted doing with these guys. And I remember someone, I think it was Retro Skull, pointing out the fact that this was very loud. Yeah, I did put an 8-tooth in these. I put an 8-tooth in this one and the Club Can't Handle Me one. And unfortunately, I learned my lesson because these things were loud as crap. So, with that being said, just a couple months ago, I went back in and put original 9-tooths in there because I didn't have 9-tooths at the time, so I used the next best thing to an extent. So I fixed all that, and now they're not incredibly loud anymore. But anyways, like I said, this sings This Is Why I'm Hot. There's also 2 more versions of the Devil. The classic Devil, which sings This Is Why I'm Hot, and another one that I forgot what song it sings. Shoot, I really can't remember. But anyways, here we go. Let's see. Up next, we have my very first Grey River that I ever purchased in stores from 2010. This is the pretty, I'd say this is rather uncommon. I wouldn't say it's rare because there's been a few popping up on eBay recently. This is the Pumpkin Ghost, or Pumpkinhead Ghost, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, this one was sold in 2010, I believe 2011, and maybe 2012. 2012, I know that they changed the movements completely. This is the original 2010 model with the stop motion animation. I got this at Walmart because I remember watching so many videos in 2009 of that Grey River Ghost, and I was just obsessed with it. I was like, man, I hope they come out with these next year in stores because I like the song, number one, on the audio, and number two, I just like the way it looked. So I found these. The next year, I was all, excited about it, and of course I got one. But one thing I'll never forget, and I'll always regret, is seeing that the clearance sale that year. They had 5 or 6 of these left, and they were all on sale. I could imagine for like $5 a piece because it was after Halloween. Because of course the original retail price was $10. And I tried to keep the tags with all these. I really think the only one I didn't really keep the tag for is the Witch. Actually, I may still have that tag somewhere. I think I put it in like a drawer or something. An unfortunate thing happened to this one. The component that moves, I don't remember which one. Oh yeah, the component that moves the body actually fried out. I think it was a capacitor or something like that that blew because both wires touched. Because there was some wear and tear in the wires in between there where the wire goes down into the base. So I fixed that, but I ended up conjoining the wires for the top portion into the torso itself. So with that being said, he does work, but he doesn't do the off sync thing where he just like when he moves his arms and doesn't turn side to side. But other than that, he works flawlessly. I really couldn't complain for how many years that I've had him and how many years that I've played him. I mean, there's a flip video from 2010 when I got all 3 of them, and I can't tell you how much fun this thing has been for the past 7 years now. Wow, I've had this thing for 7 years. That is nuts. Anyways, here we go. And before I stop showing this one, this is the logo trademark that they used that year, is Treat Street. And they sold for a whopping $10. Shocking, man. Quality. Pure quality right there. Alright, up next we have the Gimme More Witch. Now I know that there were other versions sold. I know there's one that's like, things can't be tamed. But I think that's the only other witch with this type of model of face that I know of besides the prototype. But yeah, I got this one the same year at Walmart. It was another location though, because the only Walmart nearest to me only had the pumpkin head ghost, which I freaking should have gotten all of them. But, you know, who knows? Of course, I didn't know that all these would be quite rare at one point, or uncommon and very valuable at some point in time. If so, I probably could have been making a boatload of money. And no, I'll never sell these guys, because a lot of these things I've had ever since my childhood. So, never had any problems with this one. This is just about the only one that I've never had problems with. Never had to go inside of it for any reason. I think I just misplaced the tag. Like I said, it might be in a drawer somewhere, but I'm not entirely sure. It sings Gimme More by Britney Spears, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, up next we've got these guys. Now these were sold basically at Walgreens and CVS mainly. Also Stop and Shop, if you don't know what that is. I think it's somewhere in the Northern District. We don't have a Stop and Shop local to us. But this one in particular, I actually got a Walgreens in 2014 is when I got these. These were leftover old stock, and again, guys, I still kick myself every Halloween knowing the fact that there were like 5 more of these guys and then 4 more of the Dynamite ones. But of course, I expected them to still be there the year afterwards, and they weren't. None of them there. They had an entire aisle of just nothing but old stock animatronics. God, I just wish I could have just, you know, gotten all those while I could, because there was like 4 of the Dynamite ones and 5 or 6 of these Club Can't Handle Me ones. And yeah, really regret it. I don't know what happened to them. I think they just got leftover old stock and then they just disappeared. But yeah, I still have the tag. Obviously kept the tag with it. Hot buy. Price on this. Oh, the price sticker isn't here, but it was originally $12.99. Grave River, Dances to Club Can't Handle Me. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about this one. Again, I wish I could have gotten that dang Dynamite one too, because that would have definitely helped me. But I didn't have enough money at the time, so I chose this one because I like the song. So here we go. The date on this guy is April of 2011. Just throw that out there. Up next, we got the, I'd say that this is probably one of the most desirable ones of nowadays by collectors. I don't mean by store. Because these weren't all too plentiful in stores. Like I said, I know they sold in Stop and Shop and not Party America. It might have been Party City, something related to a party store. I remember them being sold there as well, but I never saw them in person. I just saw videos of them. But this one sings Down. This one was actually made a month later than the one I just showed, which was the Club Can't Handle Me one. This one was made in May of 2011. Not much else I could say about this one. This one's just overall extremely desirable among collectors for reasons I don't necessarily know why. I mean, the song is pretty catchy, I guess. I got this off of Chris Saul's, I'd say maybe last year, maybe the year before, I'm not entirely sure, for 15 bucks. plus like shipping, so it was added up to about 20 bucks total, which is nothing for this guy. So never had to do any work to him. Doesn't have the tag or anything, but shoot, it's better than not having one at all, that's for sure. I'll play it for you. And here is just about the last, yep, it was the last batch of what you could say were once Grave Ravers. This is the 2012 Grave Raver Mummy. This one was sold at Walgreens in 2012. I don't really know of what else sold that year with this one, because all I remember being a Walgreens. I got this one in the stores, but all I remember is being in Walgreens and just seeing these and a whole bunch of other things. I think these were the only Grave Ravers I saw. There might have been some skeletons, I'm not entirely sure. I really don't remember. But this one was like 13 bucks. Same price as the rest. This one was made in May of 2012, so literally the last batch of this movement. It sings Thriller. These things are very common. You'll find them just about anywhere, even eBay for extremely cheap prices. I'd say that this is probably one of the least desirable ones out of the bunch. Yeah, here we go. Alright, so to wrap up this video, we will be filming the legendary Fireball Skeleton. Now this was made in May of 2015, almost 3 years after they eliminated the movement. So I got this one from Jordan. He was giving away a whole bunch of stuff to me, and he was like, hey, do you want this Fireball Skeleton? Because I have two of them. I was like, alright. And of course he made a hard decision because he had two, and one of them was lower pitched, one of them was higher pitched. Of course, I had to help him make the decision on which one he should give up. He didn't have to give up any of them, but he chose to give this to me, which I'm very thankful for. Thank you for that, man. But I have to say, he unfortunately broke the ice. Out of all these Grave Ravers and Groovin Ghouls that I have, this one breaks the ice for the Groovin Ghoulies. I stopped buying them in 2012. Well, I mean, with the exception of 2014, when I found the original ones that were still left, old stock. I stopped officially buying those in 2012, because I remember 2013, 2014, they had like the Locked Out of Heaven ones, and Wild One Witch, because they were all sold at Lowe's that year, and I just did not like them at all. I mean, I kind of regret not getting them, because I guess some of them are kind of desirable at this point, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not gonna cry about it because I didn't buy them. I mean, they were everywhere in Lowe's, and yeah, like I said, I wish I could have gotten one or two back then just to kind of add to this collection. Now that I have one of these, but the thing is, I never expected myself to ever own one of these guys, the newer ones. But I can't tell you how many times this thing has been shown or reviewed or viewed in stores on YouTube. So there's really not much of a description to say about it. Move side to side, up and down. So for 20 bucks, almost twice, you know, twice of what it used to be, or once was. They literally went 50% higher. It's just crazy. It just surprised the heck out of me. Went from 10 bucks in 2007 to 20 bucks in 2015, and that's what marked the end of these guys, aside from the Rockin' Ravers. I do want to get one of those, actually, by the way. But since my memory's running out of my camera, so I guess we'll play it for you. as you could see, every single one of these that I played is from oldest to newest by specific date, so you guys don't have to worry if I messed up or not. You could see how the quality is diminished on later products. They kind of drew the line back in 2012. The next thing you know, these guys started popping up. Now, I will say that this is not... I'm not going to stop buying these little animated items, the Ravers series / Groovin Ghouls. But this is the only one of these guys, like these animated, you know, the cheaper versions I'm ever going to get. And the only reason that I got this one is because Jordan actually gave it to me, because he had two of these, and he didn't really care for two, so he just gave me one of these. So thank you so much for that. Congrats, Jordan. You just kind of broke the ice on the newer ones, because all I had were the older ones, and that's all I plan to stick with, to be honest with you. I don't really want the Selfie Witch. I don't want any really of the newer ones unless I find them at a garage sale, yard sale, thrift stores, Goodwill, you name it. Basically, locally is the only time I'll ever buy one. As for the rest, we'll see. I really hope you guys enjoyed this little descriptive collection video, and thanks for watching.